we saved this frame, and what we're going to do with it is we're just going to drop it right back over the carving. The first thing we're going to do is going to go around all these letters where in between the green and the letter itself. We're not going to do it down here, of course, because that's already been cut off. But we're going to go down all these edges around here, and that provides a nice easy edge that I can come up with this 90-degree V-bit and not have to get quite as close to the letters. Another accessory that's absolutely wonderful is this lighted magnifying glass. It has a ring of extremely bright LEDs around it and a large, very clear magnifying glass. As I actually position this down right over the work, and I'm going to be looking right through this magnifying glass. That does two things for me. One, excellent light, and I can see everything's magnified, so I can see everything very clearly. The other thing it does for me is that if the router throws a chip, then it's not going to hit me in the eye. I'm also going to be wearing glasses just in case something gets past. Alright, so you're going to be seeing exactly what I'm seeing because I'm looking right through the viewfinder to do this carving. So we got earmuffs on and turn the vacuum on.
Notice how incredibly fibrous this wood is. That can be a nuisance, but it also makes the wood very strong so small parts don't break off. Sometimes the wood grain pulls the router from side to side, making straight lines difficult. Fine grained woods are usually easier to cut. To make a smooth cut, keep the router moving. You want to just barely leave the line. You can come back and shave off a little more if you need to. To get into tight spots, lift one side of the router and gently touch the spot with the tip of the bit.
Okay, I'm finished with the profile cut, but before I moved on, I wanted to show you what happens to your bits as you're cutting. In this case, you see there's some sawdust on the bit and also a lot of blackening. What the blackened part is, as I mentioned before, these bits get very hot as they're spinning through the wood, and the resin in the wood, the lignins and the sugars and things like that in the wood, actually burn onto the bit. So to clean that off, I'm going to put a piece of cloth behind here. In this case, I could actually just take the bit out because I'm finished with it for today. But if normally I have to clean the bit quite a few times while I'm doing the work and I don't want to take it out. So I'm going to take some spray cleaner and just spray it on there. Now the spray cleaner is supposedly formulated to help dissolve the wood lignins and the sugar, burnt sugars and stuff like that. And I just use this piece of cloth here to hold it in place so it won't just drip off. So I'm going to rub that, and you'll notice that it did not do a fabulous job of getting it off there, but it does soften it up nicely, and if you gave it enough time it would clean it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to chip that black mess off of my bit. The X-Acto knife is just mild steel, so it won't damage the carbide bit. But as you can see, it does do a pretty nice job, especially when you soften it up with the cleaner. A lot of people think their bits are dull, when actually all it is you have this nasty buildup on the bit, blocking all your cutting surfaces. So typically I'll stop about every 10 minutes, depending on the wood that I'm working with, and scrape all this crud off. I have to clean inside both flutes. And then it'll cut a lot better for a little while until it fouls up again. Okay, so that's all I would do when I'd be in between cuts. Wipe that mess off there. All right, much better.